It's not science fiction anymore. It's happening now. Entire professions are being absorbed by AI without a sound, and while most are still debating, the shift has already begun. What gets measured, AI will automate. That's not a theory. It's a dynamic in motion. Your spreadsheets, your designs, your analyses, anything quantifiable is in AI's crosshairs. We're talking accountants, financial analysts, writers, even creative roles and therapists. Top AI leaders like Sam Altman and Dario Amodei warn artificial general intelligence, AGI, could arrive in just 1 to 2 years, not a generation away, under our very eyes. Here's the terrifying part. 43% of AI users aren't just chatting with AI. They're delegating entire tasks, pure automation. They're gaining an edge you don't even know exists. While you wait, they're taking over. The only mistake you can make right now? Doing nothing. There are no protected zones. Your job, your skills, your very future, they're all under pressure. So what makes you indispensable? It's not about competing with AI's speed. It's about your human adaptability, your judgment in uncertainty, your ability to create what doesn't exist. It's about making AI your lever, not your threat. You deserve not to stay on the platform while the train leaves. Listen to the full podcast now to understand the complete strategy and secure your place in this new economy. The clock is ticking.
You might not see it splashed across the headlines every night, but make no mistake, we're already living to a massive shift. Artificial intelligence isn't some, distant sci-fi thing waiting to happen. It's reshaping the global economy right now, silently. It's this quiet disruption absorbing entire professions with, a relentless efficiency. So today we're doing a deep dive into that profound, often unseen impact AI is having on how we work, how we live. Our mission, it's really to reveal AI's silent superpower. Its relentless march into anything that can be measured. But here's the twist, the really interesting part. That very power, surprisingly, it actually reveals your indispensable edge, the unmeasurable stuff. We'll be pulling insights from top researchers. There's a fascinating Harvard article we'll get into, and some very candid discussions by the leading AI visionaries out there. Okay, so let's unpack this. The bedrock truth of this shift. Like I said, it isn't science fiction. AI is a real-time economic upheaval.
It's happening now, quietly taking over whole professions. And the central idea, laid out so clearly in that Harvard piece we're looking at today, it sounds simple, but it's incredibly disruptive. What gets measured, AI will automate. Okay, just think about that for a second. What gets measured?
Right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this principle is genuinely a paradigm shift. It's not just tweaking things. If you can quantify a task, define it with data, give it a clear objective, and then throw enough computing power at it, well, AI won't just learn it, it'll reproduce it at scale. This isn't just theory, It's happening. And the speed is, it's kind of astonishing. You've got Dario Amodei at Anthropic, Sam Altman at OpenAI. They've both pretty boldly stated that artificial general intelligence, AGI, AI that rivals humans broadly, could be here in just 1 or 2 years.
1 or 2 years. That's incredibly fast. Almost hard to believe.
It is. Now, of course, you have skeptics. Yann LeCun over at Meta, he's more cautious. He points out, quite rightly, that current models have limitations. They struggle with physical common sense, coherent long-term reasoning. But, and this is the key point, the disruption is already well underway. It doesn't really matter when AGI gets here precisely. We've already crossed a kind of tipping point. The process has started.
Okay, so we've established this measurable principle. When you actually look at the job market right now, where are we seeing the immediate impact? What kinds of jobs are feeling this automation hit first, beyond, the usual headlines?
Well, the obvious examples often get the headlines first, don't they? Like self-driving vehicles. That tech is poised to replace millions of drivers, ride-sharing, buses, trucks. That's not really an if anymore. It feels much more like a when. But the scope is way broader than just that. We're already seeing whole chunks of creative fields getting absorbed.
Creative fields, like what specifically?
Yeah, things like translation, a lot of creative writing tasks, graphic design, even routine coding. And look, these aren't just opinions or vague predictions. These are observable trends. You can measure them. They're happening fast across different industries.
And that word again, measurable, it seems key.
It's absolutely crucial. Any environment that's structured, that's codified, think laws, tax codes, compliance protocols, even data from industrial sensors. If it's written down, if it follows rules, it's a prime target for automation. What is codified essentially becomes automatable. There was this really eye-opening statistic from Anthropic back in February. They found something like 43% of user interactions with their AI, they weren't collaborative. It wasn't, help me think, it was direct task delegation. Just do this. Pure automation.
Wow, 42%. So people are already just handing tasks off.
Exactly. And this is only going to get easier, more seamless. You're seeing the rise of these modular AI agents. They can communicate and coordinate tasks among themselves using standard protocols like MCP, multi-agent communication protocol. So imagine AI is not just taking orders from you, but talking to each other, coordinating complex stuff anonymously using the shared language. It's a whole other level.
Okay, so for a while, though, the thinking was different, wasn't it? Early AI researchers, people like Agrawal, Gans, Goldfarb, they argued that human judgment, our ability to make calls when things are uncertain, that was supposed to be our safe zone. The last human advantage AI couldn't touch.
Yeah, that was the prevailing wisdom for a time. But that notion, it's being seriously challenged now. What's really interesting here is how fluid the idea of judgment actually is. It's not fixed. As AI models get access to more data, richer data, and just sheer computational power increases, what needed human discernment yesterday? Tomorrow, it might just be an optimization problem for the AI.
Can you give an example of that, where judgment is becoming measurable?
Sure. Take psychological support. There's recent research suggesting AI can already offer basic psychological support 24/7, and it can do it at a fraction of the cost of a human professional and potentially with more consistent quality than maybe an average human therapist.
Consistent quality.
Go on. Well, think about it. The AI can process vast amounts of therapeutic literature. It can spot patterns in speech and text instantly, apply evidence-based techniques rigorously. It does this faster and more consistently than a human realistically can. It's not replacing a superstar therapist, perhaps, but it's becoming good enough for a lot of people, democratizing access to a certain level of support. So that really forces the question, doesn't it? How do we actually separate the tasks AI will automate eventually from those that need genuine new human breakthroughs? Where's that line?
Right. And to figure that out, to really get why AI is moving so fast across so many areas, we probably need to go back to basics, back to that simple formula that kind of kicked off this whole revolution. Which is, essentially, get enough data, have a clear goal, add enough computing power, and boom, AI can learn pretty much any task you set it.
Exactly. That framework, that simple formula data, objective, compute, it wasn't entirely new, but its application just exploded in 2012. That was the AlexNet breakthrough, a real watershed moment. Geoffrey Hinton, often called a father of modern AI, Nobel Prize winner now. He and his team showed that using off-the-shelf NVIDIA graphics cards, GPUs, and a new kind of neural network, a machine could learn to see. It could recognize images with incredible accuracy. People thought that was years, maybe decades away.
And that basically ended the AI winter.
It did.
Yeah.
It completely changed the game. It established that data reward compute playbook and that exact formula. It's now being applied everywhere. Vision, text, audio, writing code, making strategic decisions, even controlling robots. So yeah, any job that relies heavily on measurable tasks, think spreadsheets, analyzing images, applying rules consistently, drafting standard emails, all of that is now squarely in AI's crosshairs. It's become predictable, measurable work.
And what really makes this intense, I think, is the speed, the pace of development. We're not talking slow, steady progress. It's exponential. It compounds fast, which means these protected zones people might think they have. They might not be protected for very long. Creative jobs, analytical jobs, admin work, even some relationship-based roles. They're being absorbed because the underlying processes, when you break them down, are predictable and measurable.
That's right. The models get better literally every week. The interfaces get simpler to use. The costs keep dropping until suddenly you realize that thing you used to spend hours doing, someone else is doing it 10 times faster with an AI tool, or maybe even worse. No one is doing it anymore. The AI has just absorbed that function entirely.
So when we talk about no protected zones, you really need to ask yourself, is my job, is my industry truly immune? This isn't just about factory floors or call centers anymore. So, okay, if everything measurable is potentially on the table for automation, what does that leave for us, for humans? Where's our place in this world that's kind of recomposing itself right in front of us? That Harvard article we mentioned, it offers what I found to be a really hopeful angle. It says, humans are evolutionary generalists. What exactly does that mean? Why is that idea so important right now?
It's a really powerful concept. It means we, as humans, we've been shaped by evolution to deal with uncertainty. We're designed to navigate, as the article puts it, half-drawn maps, to thrive when faced with unknown unknowns. Our greatest strength isn't doing the same predictable thing over and over. It's our adaptability, it's the elasticity of our thinking, our ability to imagine scenarios that don't exist yet, to improvise, to pivot our strategy the second the rules of the game change.
So AI taking over the predictable stuff is actually a gift.
In a strange way, yes, it's a paradoxical gift. By automating the predictable, the measurable tasks, AI frees up our uniquely human, counterfactual brainpower. It lets us focus on the higher level, truly unpredictable problems, the stuff AI can't handle yet.
And what are those areas where AI still struggles, where uncertainty rules?
Well, there are several domains. First, anywhere measurement is just practically impossible. Think about trying to capture an image of a black hole or probing the extremes of physics. You can't just feed that data in easily. Then there are areas where measurement is possible, but it's constrained by privacy laws, ethical concerns, regulations. Society might not allow the measurement needed. Also, situations where society demands transparent reasoning. Why did you make that decision? AI struggles with explainability, though that's improving. We call it interpretability. Until that's solved, humans are needed for accountable decisions. And finally, yeah, there are simply places where people just prefer a human touch, even if AI could do it perfectly.
Absolutely. You can train an AI for perfect politeness, perfect service delivery, but can it replicate that spontaneous shared laugh or that nuanced empathy in a difficult conversation, that human touch that feels like our unique territory? For now, at least. Which brings us right into this idea of Knightian uncertainty, named after the autonomist Frank Knight, right?
Exactly. Knightian uncertainty refers to situations where the risks aren't just unknown, they're unknowable. You can't even assign probabilities to outcomes. Think about trying to scale a truly innovative startup. There's no historical data for something brand new, or allocating capital or talent into highly uncertain R&D projects containing a novel pandemic pathogen before you understand it.
Setting central bank policy during a completely unprecedented economic shift, drafting the ethical guidelines for AI itself, or inventing a genuinely new art form.
Precisely. These are the zones where the probabilities just disappear, where you need that ambitious human creativity, that deep strategic thinking, that gut feeling based on experience in ambiguous situations. That's where we thrive.
So what does this mean for the future economy, if AI handles the measurables and humans handle the uncertain?
Well, the implication seems pretty clear. Opportunities might increasingly concentrate at the sort of top of the pyramid. We're talking about roles focused on high-level strategy, genuine innovation, high-impact creation, sophisticated communication, negotiation, managing the unknown. Your degree or your current job title alone won't protect you long-term. What will matter is your ability to dance with AI.
Dance with AI. I like that. Meaning use it as a tool.
Exactly. To think with it, to direct it effectively, to amplify your own abilities using it, to leverage it as a powerful collaborator, not see it just as a replacement threat. That skill will be crucial.
Okay, so for leaders, for individuals listening right now, what's the practical advice? How do you cultivate this unmeasurable edge?
The advice really boils down to investing in the intangibles. Things AI can't replicate yet, or maybe ever. Things like taste, building deep trust, having a compelling vision, and fostering adaptability in yourself and your teams. Think about Amar Bose, the founder of Bose Corporation. He famously focused on how music sounded to people in real rooms, a subjective, unquantifiable quality. He ignored the standard technical specs of the time.
Right, he focused on the experience, not just the numbers.
Exactly. And he basically rewrote the rules of the audio industry doing that. So the advice is, back those wild card bets that have uncertain ROI. Reward the teams in your organization that don't just solve problems, but reframe them, the ones who lean into the unknown instead of shying away from it. Make a point to rotate your talent through roles that force them to confront real uncertainty R&D, exploring new markets, dealing with complex, unpredictable customer situations.
And maybe allow for less efficiency, a bit more slack.
Yes. Create slack time. Engineer opportunities for cross-team collisions, moments where people from different areas can interact unexpectedly. That's where serendipity happens, where new ideas spark. Start treating those pockets of planned ambiguity not as a bug, not as a liability you need to stamp out, but as a feature, as a strategic asset for navigating an uncertain future.
Okay, so let's bring this all back home for everyone listening. In this world that's shifting so fast, what is it that makes you truly indispensable? What part of your expertise, your approach, your way of thinking, what part cannot simply be measured, learned, and reproduced by an AI?
And maybe ask yourself, are you absolutely certain that will still be true in 2 years? Or maybe even in just 6 months? The case is that fast?
The truth is, this shift, it's already here. It isn't waiting for us to catch up. The challenge isn't to just watch AI from a distance or try to outrun it in the measurable race. It's to make it an extension of yourself. Paying close attention to what is measurable, yes, but paying even closer attention to what stubbornly isn't. That's what's going to define success and maybe even survival in the years ahead.
If you made it this far, you're not just curious, you care. This is just the beginning. AI is moving fast, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve, we've got regular insights, expert breakdowns, and honest conversations, all in under 30 minutes. So go ahead, hit subscribe. The future of work won't wait, and neither should you. If you